2. And here we are. Guys, it gives me great pleasure, again, to introduce you to one of my clients that I've just finished working with for a couple of months. Her name's Shannan. A little bit about her is that when we met, Shannan told me that she'd been a personal trainer for quite a while, but it had been her side gig. She's also a mother of 2 and works part-time in accounting, but that obviously makes you incredibly busy in an accounting firm. She also comes from a rural town. So if you've ever used that as an excuse that you can't build your business, please don't. What I saw in Shannan, and I'll let her tell you about herself in a second, is that she has an amazing amount of gumption and fortitude as a person because she's been a kickboxer since the age of 3. So she hadn't actually focused on that part of her business as a business. And since she's been doing that, she's had some amazing success. And it was very scary for her and I to start together from her perspective, even though I could see her potential, because she was in a place of earning only a couple of $100 a week. But she did have experience. So Shannan, is there anything you want to add as far as yourself and your skill set and where you kind of were when we started together?
Yeah, so where I was at, I mean, I'd already been working as a personal trainer for like almost 13 years, I suppose, 12 years time. So yeah, it was coming back into it was a little bit scary as well. And just trying to build up my business again was my biggest challenge.
Because you'd been in lots of different scenarios of different gyms, hadn't you? And now you've set your own thing up at home, but you've gone back to that after having kids. Is that what you mean?
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah, and it does. It actually, even going back to work after just having kids plays with women's, obviously, self-esteem and confidence anyway, doesn't it? It's
sure
really confronting, incredibly confronting. But when Shannon was telling me that she'd been a kickboxer since the age of 3 and she'd never really marketed herself as that, whereas she still does that now. And by the way, she's like fights with, national title holders and all that kind of stuff, like very, very, very high level people. So from me looking at her potential from the perspective of being able to run a successful business, I was saying to Shannon before we got on here, I said, if somebody is prepared to have their face smashed in, they are a very hard worker. And that is how she was applying it to her business, but the stuff wasn't working. And for some reason, she was looking at lots of people, but couldn't, as in looking at working with lots of people, but couldn't get something to work. So I'm really incredibly impressed and happy that this is a work for her. But was there a kind of a rock bottom moment for you, Shannan, before you decided to take action and change anything?
I think it got to a point where, I had the same 3 clients and we were working each week, but it just wasn't growing. I wasn't gaining any leads. Money wasn't growing. I almost felt like I was wasting my time. It wasn't until I actually changed what I was doing and it started to grow. I suppose I was just offering maybe too much or not the right thing to actually gain some momentum. So.
It's funny, isn't it? I don't think, from a social media perspective, I remember looking at what you were posting, like before I even spoke to you the first time. I always have a bit of a stalk and have a look at what you guys are up to. And I'd seen that while you'd made 1 or 2 videos, okay, so she's game to make videos, you'd also done quite a few posts about this challenge or that challenge or whatever. So I can see, not only I could see, but anyone that's done any marketing, we can see who you guys have learnt stuff from. And it's not that it's wrong, because sometimes that stuff works for people, but a lot of the times in our industry too, it's so overused that people are just so used to flicking past it with their thumb. And if you don't capitalize, I guess, on the relationships and the part of the business for yourself that's actually really easy to execute, the entire thing becomes, like you said, really hard. It's just lucky that you're willing to persist because you've got that kickboxing persistent bull terrier background. Yeah, that's made you an amazing business person. So just as well you didn't give up. because it's all coming to fruition. So were there any courses or anything that you'd done before? Did you get any results, and what other searching and stuff did you do?
I didn't actually do any courses. I just went through Facebook and I joined um, just about every free um, personal trainer type group that I could find. Um, I'd actually was going along with the Fitness Education Online boys as well from Sydney. So I was sort of following a lot of their content and a lot of their things. Um, and yeah, I was having, sort of video conferences with people from Canada, America, all over Australia, just people like yourself, Kate, who were helping other personal trainers to sort of get ahead. So, sort of talking to a lot of people. And yeah, it just became so confusing because there was just too much out there. And yeah, you sort of just didn't know which way to go. Um, but there was a lot of helpful content that some people did sort of give out for free or sort of give you. But without a bit of guidance, it was a little bit too hard to actually implement or to really understand how to apply it to your own business. So,
I suppose different things work for different people. And actually, to be honest, posting, that's one of the benefits of actually being in rural is it is usually different. And people would think, well, there's not as many clients, even though I know in the town that you're in, there's quite a lot of competition as far as gyms. If you were to set up a four-wall gym and need at least 500 members, that would be a little bit of a problem because they're all in competition with each other and they all have the structure and the way that they do things. But being in your garage, you can obviously do what you like, but because they're buying into you and there's no other Shannans that do this kind of work, it's the marketing's been easy. It's really about not being your own best kept secret, isn't it? So if you've checked out all these people, I'm incredibly flattered that you worked with me in the end anyway, but why did you choose my course?
I don't think it was more your course, but it was you as such, because you were very direct and like, this is what I think you need to do. And I needed that. I needed someone to just come in and be like, okay, I'm taking charge. This is what you're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. And just get it done. And that's what I wanted. I wanted someone who was going to be blunt and direct with me because I wanted to fix the problem. Didn't matter how we fixed it, I needed to fix the problem. So, yeah, it worked out so incredibly well working with you because we did fix that problem and it gave me direction. And the support and the help that you've given me is incredible. So, it's I chose you because probably more your personality than anything, and even just from our first initial call, it felt right. So yeah.
So, yes, I got very excited when I heard that you'd been a kickboxer since you were 3. I was saying to Shannan as well before we got on here, because most people, obviously you need to be at a certain level, because if you're trying to sell anything, usually if your income's not at a certain level, then you're selling from fear. And even though Shannan's income was really low, only a couple of $100 a week, I could see the potential. And it's true, like, because she can see it now as well, because each month she's not only taking on more clients, but her income's going up as well. And she's still got her other job and she's still got 2 kids. And now she's planning a wedding and, has had all these personal things going on as well, which is, good and bad as life throws at you anyway. So thank you. I'm flattered that you chose to do this. So skeptically you tried it, or were you not skeptical at all? Because I want to discuss this. Normal people are skeptical. Even myself, I check out everybody quite a lot before I work with them. How did you feel about it before you started?
Well, I was a bit skeptical, but then when we had our initial couple of video chats, I became more comfortable with the idea. I was quite scared to jump on board, as anyone would be, because you don't know. And, it's sort of, suppose I didn't really have anything to lose, but I did, at the same
Mm.
time. Um, I wouldn't say, yeah, too skeptical, but yeah, I was scared to take that step. But then I was just like, big risks for me have always worked out. So that's why I was like, no, I've got to do it. So I've just jumped both feet in. So
Which is what it takes with anything, doesn't it? It's not like you can say, well, I'm going to get a little bit married. No. Or I'm a little bit pregnant. No. Or I've got a little bit of a business. Same. Yeah. Guys, you can just hear, can you imagine her being your trainer and holding the pads? Like, it's incredible. I wish I was closer, actually. You make me want to do kickboxing again. It's been such a long time. So did you find that there were even immediate wins and that it was a different level of approach and a different kind of support? Or can you talk about that for a second?
yeah, sure. So it was pretty much immediate once we sort of decided to work on the kickboxing side of things.
Mm.
It just overnight. I was getting, 13 inquiries at once when before I was getting none. So it just really turned. I mean, once I sort of decided to focus on something and sort of, went, okay, well, I'm going to advertise that, I just got a lot of interest because before when I was doing boot camp, wasn't much interest because we have quite a few of those here in my town anyway. So it was very hard to try and get that up and running regardless. But what I do is so unique. We don't have very many people who actually teach what I teach or do what I do. So, um, saying that, it was something completely different, and I think a lot of people were looking for something different. And the fact that I train women only, you know, from home, family orientated, I think there was a lot of good positive points about it that people really responded to.
Mm.
So once I sort of got that out there, it just started growing and growing. And each time I think we've bettered the things that I've done or, um, the different marketing strategies or the different advertisements that I've put out there have just, I'm getting leads pretty much every week now, which is really good. Sometimes they don't, on board, and then other times I get them completely hooked, and that's that. They're for life. So,
And these aren't paid marketing strategies either, are they?
nope,
No. So it's
definitely.
all organic, guys. But that is the difference of knowing the demographic of where you come from, because even spending a little bit on Facebook ads, if you're in a highly, highly populated, dense area where there is a gym literally on every corner, or a small studio like Shannon's, and they're paying, because I've got a client that's quite in dense populated part of Sydney, you can't do that. She'd have to spend more than $500 a month minimum. She'd have to spend $1,500 to win comparison to the gym next to her. So we've just gone a different tact with her, just as we have with you, because, and this is what I love when you guys get to experience something else apart from boot camp, because nothing makes you tireder usually than the constant traffic. And it's not that you were traveling and having a lot of equipment and that kind of stuff, but it just really wasn't your zone of genius. You could tell when I was talking to you. It was like more accounting work that wasn't where you wanted to spend the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So it definitely becomes easy when you do a subject that you love, doesn't it? So, and if you fast forward to today,
Mm-hmm.
so what are the results that you're having, and what's life like, and what can you see, I guess, for the future?
I can see just having that style, being at home, training all my girls, and basically just having that lifestyle that I want, where I'm not working all the time and I can go to the kids' schools, or I can,
Mm.
be at home and do those things and spend more time with family, as well as run my business. Um, Also, not having to work for someone else, that flexibility is fantastic. Over the past few weeks, because I've been on holidays from the accounting firm, it's been absolutely amazing. I didn't want it to end. I loved just getting up, spending time with the kids, and then going out the backyard, training my girls in the studio, and then when that's all done, I come in and back to family time. It's been really, really good. So I'm absolutely
It's good.
yeah. And then business wise, regardless, like it is growing. And as I said before, I'm getting leads constantly, which is good. I'm getting people joining, once or twice a week. People have already brought in their friends. Um, I've had, pretty much everyone just gets hooked on kickboxing. So it's
Can I say it's also because you're a good practitioner. So you can't give somebody that part of their personality. You're actually good anyway. Sometimes it takes a bit to, that's where the 7 years worth of kind of, I'm not sure if this is going to work for me, but clearly you had it in you and you like it. You've made a go at it. So as Shannon was telling me, that just some basic numbers, even just before we got on, was she had 3 regular clients before we started. And we're only 4 months on, and she's got, what, 53, did you say? There's over 50 now. Yeah. And they're just, doing the classes. So they're doing her low end thing. So because that's all we've focused on with her is that model. And she's still to do 2 or 3 other things with a couple more months support. So where it's going statistically is very exciting. I'm very excited for you. And you enjoy it now, which is just incredible. It's a different model, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And it's so good when you have your clients come and, they've achieved something, or they've, I've got one girl who's quite short, and she's, tiny little thing, and she's working on getting her kicks up higher, and we're managing to get those kicks up higher. We've got finally losing the weight they wanted to lose. We've got others with, polycystic ovaries who absolutely love it because they don't put on weight with it. It's holding their weight at bay, and they've struggled with all their weight loss and putting on weight constantly. And they said every time they come, there's no weight being gained. So they're loving it. And then I've got my 50-year-old ladies who, one of them said to me the other day that she passed fitness testing for her new job with flying colours and she didn't even feel it. She thought it was fantastic because she was doing so much kickboxing that she was fit and healthier. So, getting such beautiful comments from clients and the fact that they're actually achieving their goals, that's why I do what I do. So,
yeah. And guys, it's amazing. This is why a lot of my marketing is geared towards women, is because that's how we feel from the clients. Not that guys don't, but there's just quite a few bro things out there, and they really are counting the numbers and statistics. And as much as I can give you spreadsheets for numbers and statistics, the girls tend to focus on actually, I just really care about people and I love them. But if there's anybody that's watching this, I just want you to know that you can still care about people and love them more than you care about the money, but you're still entitled to earn the money. It doesn't have to be one or the other, which is what the traditional business sense has been, which is why you're the absolute perfect example of that, Shannan, because you love the work as well, which is, again, why I was so excited to hear that you had that passion that you'd been doing since you were a little girl anyway, and just hadn't capitalized on it. So I'm very proud of you and looking forward to seeing what you achieve in the next couple of months as well, and all the ladies that you help. So have you got anything else that you wanted to contribute?
No, not really.
Thank you so much for getting on and doing a video with me today, because I know videos aren't most of your guys' things. It just helps to hear everything from somebody else's perspective, to know where you were and what is actually possible, because anything's possible if, like you said, you just actually make the decision. So guys, you know where I am. Send me a message if you want to quadruple your business, or at least be able to double or triple it, and you're willing to work like Shannan, because it's about actually doing better work, not more work. As I understand, you don't have time for that usually. And I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you again, Shannan, so much for your time.
No worries. Thanks, Kate.
You're welcome.